Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do a reading to see if we can get messages for this upcoming solar eclipse. When I was shuffling from my archetypal deck trying to get 3 random cards for this reading to see if we can get some energies for what we might be experiencing as a collective, all of the female cards came up. And I find that actually very fitting considering it's retrograde and eclipse season, since usually the female cards point to internal work, doing work from the inside out, where a lot of the male cards are doing work from the outside in. So I think that a lot of these messages are going to lean heavy towards inner work and self-work, and things that you might be experiencing internally that are affecting your external reality. Okay, so for pile 1, we have the matriarch. And this rhodonite stone. For pile 2, we have Morgan Le Fay. And this black obsidian. For pile 3, we have the Golden Empress. And we have this aquamarine stone. Please pause the video if you need a moment to meditate over which pile is yours. One of my favorite things to do is over the screen, just to gently put my hand over each pile to see which one is calling to me most. I know for a lot of people they like to pick through the stones, and a lot of people like to pick through the pictures, or the number, which is 1, 2, 3. So whichever appeals to you most, pause the video if you need to, but for right now we're going to start with pile 1. Although it wasn't my intention to do this with the piles, a lot of these cards just randomly came up with 2 cards at the same time. And I have a feeling that the top card is equivalent to what you consciously know of your situation or what you're experiencing. And the bottom card has to do with what you might not be aware of, but it's happening underneath the scenes for you. So it could be equivalent to your unconscious side, your shadow side, or another part of the situation that's not really coming to the light. So for pile 1, we got the matriarch, and then we have Nyx, the enchantress of night. The matriarch is called the mother of the homestead, but the story behind the matriarch is she dishonored the gods because she made a choice that was best for her. And it wasn't part of the law, it wasn't part of the rules, but it was best for her. She is the equivalent to a black sheep of the family, a scapegoat of the family, the cast out. But as she is separated in her way, she does create a homestead for other people that are like her. So although she understands rejection, she is the archetype that moves beyond the rejection, and she creates a space for herself with people that she can relate to, that you might also call equivalent to other lost souls. She creates opportunities for herself and for other people. And she is the matriarch, so this is the crone energy of the triple goddess. And what I love about the triple goddess is a lot of people don't recognize this in our modern day society, but the matriarch was the first energy to be exiled from our society as a whole. Now they're working on the patriarchal energy, the healthy version of it, not the toxic version of it. But the matriarch and the patriarch energy those are supposed to be our wise elders that are supposed to lead us towards the future. And that doesn't mean things like, how to get a job, or, how to make it in this fast-moving technological era. I mean, this is about the deepest parts of humanity. What does it mean to be human? What does it mean to walk in your truth? These are the very, very basic lessons that all of us are learning from birth all the way to our deathbed. And, the elders in our community are supposed to be way showers for this. And the matriarch, in a lot of tribal cultures, there was always, the leader was usually a matriarch, not normally a man. The matriarch, they recognized that she had the wisdom of the triple moon phase. So she had the wisdom of the maiden, the mother, and the crone. And by the time you get to the crone, you have exited the moon cycle. But because you've walked through the moon cycle, where you entered it as a maiden, and you walked through it as a mother, and then you exit it separate from it, you have the wisdom of it, you still retain the intuition of that cycle. And this matriarch energy, she is the master observer. She was somebody that went through every phase in life, and she had to do it where her body didn't always belong to her. And as she was doing that, she was learning, just as every woman does. Women have a very special journey in comparison to men, is that our bodies are very connected to the universe. We birth the babies, we bring in the babies, we're connected to the moon. And then when we make it to this matriarch energy, we become separate from it. But we're still a part of it, because it's what shaped us. So it creates a very wise character. Long story short, I don't know how I got on that tangent, but we need matriarchs in our society, because matriarchs are usually the people that bring in the wisdom, and they bring in that revolutionary energy that says this is not true. Because patriarchal energy, they are the natural order makers of the system. Matriarch energies are the natural chaos energy of the system. They are what says, this system that you are building, Mr. Patriarch, is not human. It's not humane. It is not the order we need. So I'm going to bring my chaos in, and I'm going to make it more human. And that is why I think the matriarch was the first of, the 3 phases of the female and the 4 phases of the man to be separated from our society as a whole. And I think that's why some of our systems don't really quite work for us. So when I see this Nyx energy right here paired with this, I see somebody who is very aware that she is rejected. I see somebody that's very aware, and because of that, she feels part of her has to be a secret, and she has to be vigilant, and to have action, to be an action-oriented person, that they need to take action unseen, a lot of times. Nyx, it's very interesting because Nyx, often her actions come through as a trickster towards other people, but she's always a support person. She's always somebody that works in harmony with other people and of nature. She is somebody who uses the energies of the moon, the energies of the universe, and she moves with flow. Whether that comes through in order or whether it comes through in chaos. And I don't know why, there's always an instinct of why I want to pick certain stones for certain piles, but I think the message with this one is to not forget your heart space. Because with these cards here, I feel, as I was reading these cards, channeling through these cards, I feel that there might be a little bit of reminder to not get lost in the game. You know, and remember, this is a general reading, so, you know, for your situation, don't make it fit if it doesn't fit. Maybe you belong to another pile, but also, because this is general, remember that if this pile does call to you, your situation is going to have variances. You know, for some people, this might be in the family, just in the family. For other people, it might be your friendship groups or your communities, and for other people, this might have a very large reach, like a collective reach. And I feel like this stone is reminding you that the reason you're on this journey is to walk in your truth. You know, and although the Nyx energy helps you, it helps you to be effective, don't get too lost in the secrets or the the subterfuge. Also, I think there might be a warning of, you know, to not separate things in your mind between good and evil. That although sometimes the order or the system or the powers that be, it feels evil, in a way they're just doing their archetype, they're just doing their job, they're creating order out of chaos. And so I think it's just a reminder that for you to bring in your sacred chaos, you have to remember your heart and to stay connected to it, stay grounded in it. Okay, so I want to see if we can get a few extra messages with tarot, and then we're going to do a spell card at the end, just because. Let's just, you know, honor the sacred feminine today that wants to come out and do a spell card. Okay, so let's see the tarot. Oh my gosh, okay, 7 of Wands. So this might be a fight. This might feel like a fight for some of you. And remember, you're winning. You know, even though I just dropped a few cards, but the Hierophant popped up, and I think that has two different messages. I think it's a reminder that, you know, your messages are, your insights, your truth, and your messages are coming from a higher source, you know, and they're worth fighting for. And as long as you stay connected to your truth, you are going to stay on top. Oh, the star. Gorgeous. Okay. I love that. So you have hope. You're on top. You have hope. This is a good omen. I feel, okay. 4 of Pentacles. King of Swords. Okay, so these three together, I'm kind of sensing that this is a little bit of a advice here. I feel like this is saying you're holding back a little bit. You're feeling maybe you're hoarding your energy a little. And I think by holding yourself back, you're actually blocking a few blessings that might want to be coming your way. And I think that Spirit is reminding you that this is a fight, in a sense, whether it's happening to you internally or externally. I have a feeling that that might actually both apply. There's an internal fight going on simultaneously with an external fight, and I think it's trying to say that you have everything that you need in this fight, but you have to stop holding back. This one right here, although it is a king card, and normally I think it points to some sort of male figure, so in a way this could be somebody in your life who you find is controlling the situation, or is overly rational, intellect focused, very serious. I also feel that this is also another advice card for, for you as well. To say, don't forget that you hold your own sort of truth, and it's worth fighting for, so don't hold back. That's a great message. Let me see if we have two different piles here. See if we have some other energies working in your situation. I wasn't intending on using this deck, but for some reason, certain cards that have popped up make me think that there might be some energies that you are working with right now. Oh, wow, that is so. 3 cards popped up. The Magic Guardian, Unlock the Magic Within, and the Heart Guardian, Love and Let Yourself Be Loved. This kind of reminds me of the Rhodonite stone. But the third one is Guardian Angel, You Are Not Alone. So yes, you have some sort of, some help. Somebody's helping you right now from higher sources or higher dimensions. But also, a lot of it, I think, is coming through probably your higher self, or your inner self. This is a reminder, stay connected to your heart. What you need most. Yes, you do have the sword of truth. You're holding it. But this is sort of a reminder to not get too far into the mind space, because, this is what keeps us connected. And let's see if we can get a few astrological cards. Oh, how funny. This is the first card that showed up when I opened the deck. Solar Eclipse, that's what we're going with right now. Jupiter returns benefits. That's amazing. So Jupiter is going retrograde on the 20th. So that might be some significant date for you, the 20th of this month. I think you might keep an eye out for some sort of karmic returns, some benefits coming your way, or maybe this is when you finally find the courage to not hold back anymore and to stand in your truth. Okay. So we're going to end the reading with a spell to see if we can, offer some kind of action step for you. This is interesting. I've never picked this one before. A healing spell. That makes some sense considering our reading. The elemental magic wind. Wind is a harbinger of change. The west wind is especially potent for healing. While the south wind is known to bring new beginnings, you can carry this powerful instrument with you wherever you go by capturing the wind in a white cloth bag while standing facing the wind, saying this spell. Brother wind, around us you blow. All that is sad in this life with you go. After the storm, I stand in the rain. I thank you now for all that I gain. With harm to none, this spell is begun. Tie the bag with a blue ribbon whenever you see a situation that could use a change for the better. You can pour forth some of the winds of positive change. Oh my gosh. Well, that sums up our reading. I have this this strong feeling that this whole reading, I feel like, is reminding you that you are a light worker, you're a light bringer, and that maybe some really hard things have happened to you lately and you have forgotten. And that Spirit is wanting to say you have everything that you need. You have everything you need to bring light to your family, to your community, to the collective, whatever your goals are. But just remember to stay inside your heart space, and I think, what the spell is saying is to just kind of allow some light to enter into your own heart and just wake up. What may have. I'm sorry, my words are messing up now. To wake up, remind part of your heart what it's here for. And I don't think this is really anything super complicated. I think it's more so of a, life's beating me down, and just remember that these are things that we have to do every once in a while when life gets hard, and that you're experiencing something right now where I think the solar eclipse, depending on, this is a general reading, depending on who you are, is bringing in some really big changes in the next 10 days in hopes of giving you these benefits. I think I was telling somebody recently, and I have the urge to say it again, that sometimes Spirit only offers us very short windows of opportunities to level up, to upgrade, or to finish a journey so that we can enter into a new one. And a lot of times when we don't take the opportunity quick enough, we're put in a situation to have to live through it again, but even harder, in an even harder situation. And I have a feeling that you're probably shaking your head behind the screen saying, yep, I know what that's all about. And I think that, you might be somebody who has unfortunately missed the boat in a few of these situations, and so I think this solar return might be very abrupt for you. And just remember that this is for you. This is so that you will, choose a different path. Not a different path. Choose the path that puts you on the path that you really want to go on. Okay, so this is the end of your reading, pile 1. Please like this video if it brings you peace, clarity, or conviction towards your next steps. And remember to trust in yourself. Hit the subscribe button and the little bell to be notified with new readings or astrological insights. Please check out the description box below if you're interested in booking a personal reading with me through Etsy, FIVERR, or directly contact me through Gmail. If you're looking for a way to donate $1 to support my channel, I have links below for Zelle or PayPal. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook's links below for deep free daily readings and astrological transits. Okay, so pile 2, we have Morgan Le Fay with this black obsidian stone. So I think as I was shuffling these piles from the archetypal deck. As I said in the beginning, all of the readings were coming up as female, and I had this feeling that every pile has a conscious energy. I'm trying to get the lights off of these. Has a conscious energy in the works, and they have an unconscious energy in the works. So like a shadow side or a separate timeline of some kind. So when I see these two cards paired with this obsidian, I have a feeling that Spirit is really wanting you to be mindful of the negativity that is left over in your life from the past. And I have this, I'm reminded of this one meme that I saw very recently. It was of a castle, of somebody in a castle, and it talks about how we don't always lock ourselves away to protect ourselves from other people, but sometimes it's to protect other people from our dragons as we are in the process of shedding them. And I see that, with Morgan Le Fay in this card, because, she has a lot of story in the, in the Arthur Camelot mythology, but with this card in particular, this is when she's gotten to the point where she's looking for her atonement. She's looking for atonement for her past. This is at the point where she recognizes that there was a darkness inside of her, and she's trying to purge herself of that darkness. And sometimes that darkness doesn't always belong to that person. Sometimes it's generational or passed on from previous relationships that we're in. But I just have this feeling of like this. There, maybe you have locked yourself away recently, and I feel like maybe you're aware of this. It's pretty easy to do that with COVID going around. But I think that maybe you might have done this mindfully, where you're looking for the ways that you've deceived yourself or your reality was deceptive through the conditioning of others, and you're looking to purge. You're getting rid of it, and you're atoning, and you're growing. You're growing from this situation. And I think what's important to remember is that Morgan Le Fay, although she has a lot of darkness from the stories, she is powerful. I mean, her power came from her experiences. I think that that's a very potent archetypal story of just recognizing that, although we don't deserve our experiences, sometimes we do. We don't deserve the bad experiences that we go through. A lot of times they're just passed down, and they're just waiting for somebody to clean it up. And I see that you might be that person, in your generational line or in your friend group, in your community, who really targets that generational trauma, that generational karma. And I feel like maybe you are the person who incarnated, who is strong enough to hold it all and figure out how to purge it. And this obsidian stone's coming in here to remind you of, to protect yourself in this process, I think. Protect yourself in this process. And this, I think, is the energy, it's trying to remind you, this is the unconscious, shadow side, is that people who have really been through it, tend to be the most compassionate people that we will ever meet in our lives. And I think that if there's anything to gain from this, it's that, I think Spirit's wanting to remind you that you are powerful in both spaces. It's not like this is bad and this is good. It's that, you can claim both of these energies and you can use them both mindfully. Like they're two sides of the same coin. I mean, this is being a human, right? But your two sides of the same coin came through as very powerful archetypes. Okay, so let's see if we can get some additional energies. And excuse me, I'm going to take a moment sip of my coffee here. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to do some quick tarot for your energies here. Oh, wow. That's so pretty in the video. I actually have these crystals hanging on my window, and only at a very short part of the day do the crystals reflect. Do the crystals reflect the light? Okay, Page of Cups. Oh, these two cards came out together. So Lovers over Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so I'm going to do this so that I can be reminded that these two came together. Oh, wow. Great cards. These two came together as well. The Empress and the Ace of Wands. So, what I'm seeing with your pile is you guys are prepared for this solar eclipse. It may not feel like it, but you are prepared. You have seen that an invitation has come. An invitation has come of some sorts. And, I have a feeling like I'm supposed to go like this, right here. Okay. So, this Lover's card right here. What I'm seeing is, usually when this card comes out, it has to do with a relationship, and for you, it might be a relationship. You might have recently received an invitation for love, and maybe in this relationship, it's activating what's happening for you. But for the rest of you guys, this might be an inner marriage, the sacred union of your two halves. And so I think this solar eclipse is having you go through this inner marriage, because see, we have the Empress with the Mother of Dawn, and these two cards are so alike. I mean, basically, this would be the Empress if this was a shared deck. I mean, this is the part of you that is nurturing, abundant. You have so much to give back to people. This one, I feel like you might have not always noticed that this part of you you're fortunate to have this side of you. I mean, it might have not felt like that in the past. Maybe this is a part of you that you've shunned, or you felt that it was a curse of some kind. But I think maybe you're beginning to see that this is part of who you are, and this is part of your gift to the world. You have a lot of ups and downs with this, but I think you're very much recognizing that, this is now a gift, I think, that you have. your ability to, help people understand that atonement is attainable. That you can come from a very dark space, and you can still operate from this energy. This energy is available to you. And I think you're recognizing that this Empress energy and the Mother of Dawn, this beauty, has always belonged to you, whether you recognized it or not. And I feel that you're going to, at the end of this, just be so inspired. I mean, this is going to be a completely new beginning for you. New creative and fertile ideas. This invitation, I feel like this is like the beginning of the solar eclipse, and this is, I think, where you're going to end up. Because this is a general reading, I think for some of you it's, probably going to be in a few days, and the rest of you it's probably going to be 6 months from when you go through this cycle. Let's see if we can find some, let me see if I can find some time frame cards. Oh, Leo. Okay, Leo season. Self-confidence to create, taking a chance on, resulting from the impressiveness of. That's me. I love this, like, lion and lion here, where it's kind of reminds me of, like, the two sides of the coin. But because it's, like, a lion, I think it's like reminding you that these two energies, these two sides of your coin, are very powerful energies. Okay. And let's get a card from the Angel and Ancestor deck and see if we can get a separate or additional energy source that's happening through your reading. Okay. So we have two cards that came up. The Hermits and the Oracle. So I think these are coming through as advice cards for you. It's reminding you that although this big, huge shift is happening for you, to really allow it to integrate into yourself. I think that Spirit wants to say that you're still waiting on some important perspective or ingredient. It says, Oracle, wait for important information. And right here it's saying retreat and recharge. And I think this is saying together that what you're waiting for, I think, is coming through to your own channeled space, your own intuitive space. I see that in these two characters' faces, how their eyes are closed and they're just in such a trusting position. I think it's saying maybe your life is very hectic right now, or maybe you're in a very active state, and I think, Spirit's trying to let you know to take a rest, retreat, recharge, allow yourself to be in a receptive space, because there's some sort of important information coming to you in that space to help you to transition through this phase right here so that you can reach a closure with it. Because remember what we said before, it's, you don't, if you don't, and oh my gosh, I hate this to be like a warning or anything, because I think that you are going to complete this test according to where your cards are coming out. That, but just be mindful that opportunities oftentimes have a short window, and I think that Spirit's just saying, like, this is basically all you need to do, because it's kind of like a done deal almost for you, which is, I think, a very nice thing to hear. We're going to do a spell card to close out our reading to see if we can get some sort of additional message or some kind of action step for your reading. Okay, wow. We have an altar spell, blade blessing. I do not know those words. You're at him and Bolin. I'm sorry, I feel like I butchered that. Will each be very useful in your practical magic. See pages 11 and 14. To imbue each new tool with your personal energy, perform this speedy spell. Blade of metal so strong, you will serve me well and long. Spells will be crafted, together we belong. Blessings and magic bind this song, so mote it be, so it is. Pass the metal blade through the flame, off the white candle, repeat those words of the spell song. Keep both your at-hame and your woolen at your altar, so their energies remain bound together. I feel like that's another reference to the two sides of the coin. I think that this is Spirit wanting to, remind you that these are not two separate parts of you. This is an integrated whole. And I think this is another confirmation that, Spirit wants you to remember that both sides are strong individually, but they're even stronger together. Okay, so this is the end of your reading for pile 2. Please like this video if it brings you peace, clarity, or conviction towards your next steps. And remember to trust in yourself. Hit the subscribe button and the little bell below to be notified for any future readings. And please check out the description box below if you're interested in booking a personal reading with me through Etsy, FIVERR, or directly through my Gmail. If you're looking for a way to donate $1 to support my channel, I have links below for Zelle or PayPal. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook. Links below for free daily readings and astrological transits. Okay, so pile 3. Before I get started, I'm going to take another sip of my coffee. Okay, pile 3. As I was doing the shuffling for these readings, as I said before, they were all coming through as female cards, and even the secondary cards were coming through as female cards. And I think that this is a reminder. I think that this might be, for some people, your conscious energy, and for others, the unconscious energy or the shadow side or what wants to come through. It could also be a trajectory of some kind, meaning you're starting here, ending here, or starting here, ending here. And I'm getting different readings for that with every pile. But for some people, I think it was a conscious side, an unconscious side, and for other people, it was like the integration of two sides. For this one, I'm sensing a trajectory. I'm sensing that for some of you, you have been in a very beautiful healing phase where you have experienced a lot of darkness and you're looking for the light in that darkness. And you're experiencing a lot of healing, of graciousness and acceptance of everything that you've been through, and you've been able to extend that to other people. And I think what's interesting is that I find this card to be to have a very like passive and receptive energy in a very beautiful way, though. Like somebody who goes with the flow of life and just sprinkles all of their beautiful healing light, everywhere they go. And I kind of see that with that little light, coming through. And like her eyes are the same color here. I just kind of see that it's like you even see the healing that needs to be done, and you're able to show the way. And I think that is a testament to how much work you've already accomplished. And I think for people who are starting here, I feel like Spirit is saying, but don't forget that there is a very powerful energy inside of you that wants to be seen. When I see this card, the Golden Empress, I see somebody who is so confident, so magnetic, and potently so. I see that this light right here that she's directing in her hands and that she sees with her eyes, it's a very calculated light. I think that sometimes when we're healing, we recognize that we have to put our light to very good use, because when you're in the dark, I'm sorry, that message is coming through with like so big. When you're in the dark and you are shining too bright, it attracts so many vampiric beings. And before you know it, you have no light. And I think that when we're in a very potent healing phase, a very strong healing phase, where we recognize that we have to be very selective with our light, as if we're looking at people is saying, is this a good investment, or is this person ready or not ready? Or even with ourselves, like even if we've gone through something very traumatic, nobody really is able to direct their timeline through recovering from pain, suffering, and trauma. We just have to simply allow it to happen and remove the blocks and resistance that are keeping us from it. It's a very submissive space to be in. And I think that with this card right here, it's almost like saying, you're like 95% in a receptive, submissive state, and then this 5% of you is directing where that energy is going. Whereas this card right here, it's like saying once you have made it to a part of your life where you're not wading through the darkness and you can really let yourself shine, I feel like this is a reminder of how much you can really shine as a human being, and you were born to shine. You were born to be somebody who attracts other people by just being who you are. Okay, so I think the opposing story is if you're starting here and ending here. I think that this is kind of somebody who reminds me of like, I don't want to say vanity, because it's not vanity. It's somebody who is very aware that they have a pull on people, and sometimes they overuse that ability or overuse that skill. And I think we see that sometimes on social media, that we know that some people are just, they have so much magnetism, that it doesn't matter what they're doing. They attract people regardless. And I think that sometimes when we're in that space too much, we forget to be aware of what exactly we're attracting. And then before we know it, we're in a space where we can't have this kind of light anymore. Like, we recognize that we've been shining so bright and not looking where we're going, and then we ended up in some sort of dark space. And I think that, you know, if you're starting here, I think that this card is trying to remind you to be very selective with where you are shining and where you are using your, you know, God-given gifts. And, you know, hopefully by the time you see this reading, you're catching it earlier on and not later on. But if you have, if you are somebody who is a little bit later on this trajectory, you know, I think this might be saying, be willing, you know, be willing to kind of retract for a little while so that you can remember who you are from the inside. You know, have a very close connection to your own light source. Give back to yourself. And then when you're ready, then you can start really understanding who it is that deserves your light. I have resistance saying deserves. Let's say that's who is right for you. You know, because our energy isn't really for everybody. You know, at some point we get drained. You know, if we're putting our light in the wrong space, then it's not getting replenished, and we will get drained. Okay, so I feel with this stone right here, because it's a throat healing stone, aquamarine. I feel like maybe you might be somebody who is naturally very expressive. And I think that, you know, Spirit is wanting you to bring some healing energy to your throat chakra and really connect to why are you expressing these particular things? Like, what is the reason? What is the root? Okay, let's see if we can get some tarot cards for your reading. Ooh, 4 of Wands. The World. 7 of Swords. And the 4 of Pentacles. Okay, I can't help but notice these 2 4s on the ends here. I feel like, going from this, like, trajectory that I kept hearing in my mind of either starting here and ending there, or starting here and ending there, I think that there might be some kind of sorry, I'm getting so many messages right now. There might be some kind of instinct to find out where you're supposed to land. And I think that for most of you in this pile, might be a little bit closer to this energy here, considering where these 2 cards are showing up. I feel like for some of you, you've been hoarding. You've been hoarding this energy. This energy has been hoarded, and you are holding yourself back. And I think you're kind of recognizing that you need to abandon ship, and that you need to take what you learned in this space and bring it with you. You know, there might be a few swords that you need to leave behind, and maybe that's something that you're learning in this solar eclipse, that there's some things in this space that were very valuable to you, and there are some things that weren't, and that those things that were not are what you can shed yourself from so that you can move towards this trajectory right here. You know, somebody who can really get out in the world. Somebody who can really get out in the world and build a foundation of happiness in this space. You know. For others, and I have a feeling that this is probably the minority of the pile. For others, I think that because the world also does indicate a completion, and I think that for others, some of you might have finished here. Like you've kind of experienced everything that you need to experience here, and you are actually deciding to abandon this ship. And I think you're deciding that you want to temporarily hoard your resources so that you can be more selective with who you share it with. Okay. I want to get an additional card for this minority pile because I'm not really comfortable leaving it with that last energy. Okay. So 3 cards came flying out. We got the 9 of Swords, the Moon, and the 9 of Cups. So yes, it's for the people that are transitioning from here to here. Yes, this is kind of an ending here, and it's bringing you a lot of anxiety. And I think this moon is coming in. It could be just a reminder that this is happening right now with the solar eclipse, or I think that it could be a reminder that remember that this is a mystery, and to just kind of trust. Like you can't see what's coming. You are going to be satisfied with what's coming. You're going to be very happy with it. This is the wish fulfillment card. Okay, so that brings me some peace. That for wherever you are in this, whether you're starting out here and moving here, or if you're starting here and moving here, you have very good things coming to you. And I think this is what Spirit, this is what Spirit, I think, is wanting to tell you. Is that this is like a polarity. This is something that you're learning in this life. Okay, let's see. I'm going to get maybe an additional astrology card. Oh, wow. Okay. So we have Jupiter returns benefits and the Grand Cross Provoker. So this card came out in the first pile, so if you felt called to the first pile as well, you might want to check it out. These 2 cards together, this is saying in an astrological placement, when you have like a Grand Cross in your placement, it's when there's 4 different elements in one type. So it's like the 4 mutable signs, the 4 cardinal signs, or the 4 fixed signs. So like for instance, the 4 fixed signs are Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo. And what happens is, because they're all different elements, it creates a lot of tension. It creates a lot of tension to create quick returns. So you might have experienced already, or you're about to experience, a grand cross provoker moment. A lot of a symphony of chaos might have recently happened to you, and I think Spirit's wanting to let you know that it's trying to bring you these Jupiter returns benefits. Jupiter returns happens in June 20th, in about 10 days. So something I think very significant is happening to you in 10 days. And I think for this reading, I think Spirit's trying to let you know to make the trajectory, whichever direction you think you're supposed to be going, is to have faith and make that leap. Because it wants to bring you Jupiter gifts. And Jupiter is a very expansive and abundant planet, so whatever's happening, whatever's being brought to you, is going to be very huge. Okay, so, let's see, one more card. Let's see if we can get like an additional energy message, maybe an advice card. Let's see what it turns out to be. Okay. I have a feeling that these advice cards are going to be paired with these particular cards. So if this is your trajectory, if this is where you're going, I think this is a reminder that your path is of the great teacher, to learn from your spiritual experiences, and that sometimes those experiences happen in the dark so that you can find your inner light. Okay, and I think, excuse me, I need to sip of coffee. Just got a tickle in my throat. Okay, and I think for this card, if this is your trajectory, I think this is wanting to remind you that, here, warrior, be fearless and stand strong. It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary to walk through the dark and be very mindful of your light, and then all of a sudden, completely let your light shine. Because I think when you've been in a dark place for a long time, we fear vampires. We fear people that take our energy and take advantage of it. And so the idea of letting it all go like that can be very scary, because we think, oh no, I'm not going to be left with anything. And I think that this warrior energy is here, and it's saying, like, yes, it's going to be scary at first, but you're very strong. Stand strong. You can do this. This is what you were meant to do. Okay. So, let's see if we can get a spell card to close out your reading. And this is just for an additional message. Okay, you got 2. So you got an altar spell and a house spell. So the rainfall rite. On the first rainy day of the spring season, place a green glass bowl outside of a water catcher. Bring it inside at the end of the day, place it in your altar beside a lit green candle, and say, "Water of life, gift from the sky, we bathe in newfound energy, make spirits fly." Dip your fingers in the water and touch your forehead. Pour the water into the ground of your garden and speak the spell one last time. Yes, I feel like this one is reminding you that you are transitioning into a whole new space. And it's going to be so beautiful. And this is like a ritual to welcome it. Okay, so this one is the housewarming spell. When you or a friend move into a new home, okay, this is just double confirmation. Place a wreath on the front and back doors. Gather 2 bundles of dried hops or eucalyptus, tie them with a green and brown ribbon, and hang them high on the doors. Walk through each door with a brown candle in a glass votive jar and aromatic cinnamon incense. Intone, home of my body, I accept your shelter. Home of my heart, I receive your blessings. Home of my heart, I am open to joy, and so it is, and so it shall be. I feel, yes, these are both basically the same card. It's just saying, maybe literally create some kind of ritual to just kind of allow yourself, to transition from one life phase into another life phase, and just, it's not like let the other part of you die, but allow yourself to make that transition welcome. Okay, so this is the end of your reading, pile 3. Please like this video if it brought you peace, clarity, or conviction towards your next steps in life, and remember to trust in yourself. Hit the subscribe button and the little bell to be notified when new readings or astrological insights. Please check out the description box below if you're interested in booking a personal reading with me through Etsy, FIVERR, or directly contact me through Gmail. If you're looking for a way to donate $1 to my channel, I have links below for Zelle or PayPal. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook, links below, for free daily readings and astrological transits. Okay, bye everybody!